Good morning, good afternoon, or good merry evening, whatever time it is for you on this Christmas Eve. Get some eggnog, and thank you for joining me for Let's Play Train Simulator Classic. I am Cyclone. We're doing the last of the Home for Christmas series today, and this is the four-part series that we started on Tuesday, and I pretty much did with almost no breaks except for my usual Thursday off. We're going to take a break after this, probably going to take Tuesday off, though I might do something else on Tuesday. I haven't decided yet. I might try and dabble around with recording another game. If I do, it'll be probably on Tuesday. So keep an eye on that on Tuesday. Keep an eye on the channel on Tuesday just in case I do that. But other than that, I'm taking a break from trains. I'm going to record some content in advance for next week. And we're going to see what I can get myself, what kind of trouble I can get myself into then. In any case, I made some notes for this scenario. I did a run in advance. And I've got as much information as I can pack into a notepad file. It's scary how much information I've got in that file right now. I've got the information electronically on hand, and I am going to refer to that while running this scenario so I can try and tell you every single train, everything else going on around this scenario. You know, I actually going to try to sound professional in this video. Why not, right? It's Christmas. The last video for a while, so let's make it sound professional. And I'll actually decide I'm going to try and do this going forward as well, so that way you don't have to hear me scrambling around for my notes or saying, I don't know what this is. I'm just going to try and put that information in from now on. If I can. New Year's resolution. Yeah, there you go. How often do we keep those? Maybe I'll keep this one. We'll see. But in any case, yeah. Final scenario in the Home for Christmas series. We are going to drive today from Dumfries to Carlisle. And we're going to see the West Coast Main Line for the first time. Now, I did previously try to record the West Coast Main Line. The scenario quality for some of them was absolute trash. I couldn't, in good conscience, show them in that fashion. Because they were just so bad, and the quality of my recording was therefore so bad, because I kept talking about how bad they were. So, I'm going to come back and edit some of them and redo others, and we're going to eventually go through the West Coast Mainline scenarios in some fashion as well. But that's in the future. That's not today. This will therefore be our first look at the West Coast Mainline North, just part of it as it's connected to, in the old days, to the South of Carlisle, or to the I can't get the name of the route. Western Lines of Scotland. First look at the West Coast Main Line North as it connects to the Western Lines of Scotland. Let's get started before I bumble over any more words, shall we? The express passed us a few minutes ago, but is apparently running into technical trouble up ahead. This means we'll be chasing yellows all the way into Carlisle. To make matters worse, a local service has failed, so we'll need to make additional stops at Annan and Gretna Green. You may set off when ready. That's exactly what we're going to do right now. So before we do anything else, this train has a triple horn. I didn't tell you that. That third one is a horn, believe it or not. We're going to pass this whiskey. I didn't notice last time there was an extra H in this sign, as you'll see as we go by here. Notice the H in whiskey. Made in Scotland. Let's get ourselves moving here. So, we're leaving to a green signal, obviously. We would not be leaving if we did not have a green signal. I don't know why I have a tooltip on the emergency brake rate, or the alerter right now. That's not a good place to keep it. Well, technically it is, but better than emergency brake. So we're leaving for Annan. That is our first stop. We should probably address the passengers. Attention passengers, we have just been informed that we will be making a couple of additional stops. As they will be boarding only, we will only board the front few locomotives at Gretna Green. But if anyone does wish to get off at Annan, if you actually have business there, go ahead. I won't stop you. So the train that's passing right now is 47064. It is off to the Western Line, heading to Dalbeattie area or somewhere like that. All trains heading off on that line are going to portal by Maxwell Town or earlier. One actually portals right after it leaves the line, interestingly enough. And I didn't show you, but there was some traffic at the St. Mary's sidings back at Dumfries as well. It was behind the station, so you can't actually see it unless you go looking for it. It wasn't worth our time. We're just going to go. You can go look at it if you want to when you play the scenario. That's entirely up to you. I will not judge you wanting to do that. We can go 45 now, so I'm going to move the speed up some more, and we're going to be entering a 75, so I'm trying to be a little cautious with how quickly I add that speed, because I don't want to have to play with the throttle too much. Though it does help with, I don't know, I don't think the vigilance device is on, so I'm not going to worry about that. It would help with that if you have a vigilance device on, I believe. Yeah, I'm gonna have to move the throttle down. Oh well. So there are going to be a number of stations rather that we see before we get to Annan. This is a line that is still open today. You will still find that this line is populated and running traffic today. So there's no situation where this line is closed. It is all running. There may be stations that I haven't actually checked the line to see if all the stations are still open. So one or two of these stations may not be open. We're going to pass another couple that I'm sure have been closed over time. But we're going to look at as it is today in this scenario, obviously, in this alternate era of 1975. I'm assuming the stations that are kept open on this line are ones that were open in 1975. So I don't know if any closed in the 10 years prior to this iteration of the route, or if they actually survived because the line was still open in this iteration of the route. I don't know those details. It's a fake situation here. Putting the throttle down to a level 1 throttle so I can maintain a modicum of speed here. Actually, I'm going to go to level 2 so I get up to 75 because that's our limit. So you notice we're on a much faster line now. This is the kind of speed you have on the side going towards from Ayr to Stranraer. So we're going to hit 90s on the West Coast Main Line North, but I don't know if I'm actually going to go up to that speed because in the practice run I noticed some interesting traffic that can get you a really nice screenshot if I time it properly. Of course, that means I would also not be showing you everything else that happens on that route. We'll see what happens. I'll see how I feel when I get up there. So there is a train idling in the siding here. That is the Racks down loop. We also just went through Racks, and I don't think I called it out when we went through it. We're now getting in a position where we're going to be following train number 47012. In the siding, by the way, it was a class 25, 25096. So we're now in a situation where we're going to start following 47012, which is a some semi-fast service heading through Carlisle to down to the Penrith area and beyond on the West Coast Main Line North, heading south. So we're going to be following him to Annan. I've gone ahead and brought my speed down to about 60 for now because we did pass a yellow signal. So we need to be ready to come to a stop here. There's no need for us to go at full speed because we will get a red signal up ahead if we come too fast. The train is not making any stops, but there are one or two signal blocks that are long enough that can cause us problems. But in any case, when you have a yellow, it is a good practice to slow your train down a little bit just to accommodate for the single yellow, because you know you're going to have to potentially come to a stop up ahead. And you should be traveling at a speed where you are able to comfortably come to a stop, but I'm trying to go fast enough that you can still see the signals and when they change, so we'll see how well I do with that. Now, you notice there's a sound of a train going by or something again. I don't know why this keeps happening on this route. I honestly don't. Maybe there's noise associated with the buildings that we pass by. I don't know. Pardon me, ladies and gentlemen. We now have a green signal, so I'm coming a little too slow at this point. I'm going to re-increase the speed here. I'm expecting by the time we get to Ruthwell that we're going to pass by class 105. There is a stopping service 105 heading up to the up towards Dumfries. It actually portals at Nunholm as it enters the West Highland or Western Lines of Scotland. I keep calling it the West Highland Line for some reason, but it portals at Nunholm as it enters the Western Lines of Scotland. The Castle Douglas Railway. So we should see that train stopper service very soon. In fact, they already made a stop at Cummertrees. It will also be stopping at Racks and Dumfries before portaling out. So we have a green signal. That's the thing I should point out right now. We can continue to go at line speed, so I'm going to go ahead and re-increase my speed here. We are now within 8 miles of Annan. I'm going to go ahead and drop my throttle now. There's no reason to go necessarily at the speed limit, but I am going to go ahead and at least try to maintain 70 here. $70 is still happening, as we still have a green signal. There is that class 105. I'm about where I was in my practice runs, so he is making his passenger pickup at Ruthwell. And he is going to continue, as I said, to Racks, Dumfries, and then off onto the line we just came from. We have a yellow signal. So 47012 did not make any additional stops, but apparently the next signal block is long enough that we are going to get a red signal out of this if we come in too quickly. Now it's possible even going at line speed it might have been yellow by the time we reached it, but we're not going to go ahead and do that kind of chancing. There's no reason to. We should be driving safely, and that's what I'm going to do for you. So I'm going to scan ahead here. We're going to take a look. You can see it as a yellow signal, so I'm going to go ahead and leave the brakes off at this time. We're going to continue on as if nothing had happened, but we are going to maintain caution for the time being. As I forecast, it looks like it is a long signal block, and that's why we had a yellow at the previous signal. Yep, thank you. So I'm going to stay in this range of 60 miles per hour for now. There is the next signal a mile and a half away. Once again, I do expect we're going to probably have a yellow by the next signal, but we're going to be ready to stop just in case. You see the next signal block is very short, so we should definitely have a yellow by the time we get there. In fact, it might even be green by the time we get there. So we're coming closer to Annan. I don't know the exact location, but somewhere along here is Newby Halt on the right of the track. It is marked on the map, and I think there's an old station building. That might be it right there, actually. Newby Halt. Yeah, that looks like it could be it, because there is a platform there. I think that is Newby Halt. I take that back. No, this is the station. This is the Cummertree Station. Sorry. Newby Halt is a little closer to Annan. It just felt like it was around that point. We are 3 miles out, so I did call Newby Halt a little early. And by the way, we did have a green signal. You heard the bell, and I didn't respond to it. There's a reminder of what the horn sounds like as we go over that crossing. There's a reminder that we have a yellow signal. And given that the train ahead of us, the blocker, is going to be making a stop at Annan, I do fully expect the next signal will be red. So we are going to hit the brakes for this signal. I'm just going to come in slowly. I'm not going to try to come up to the signal and stop. Actually, you know what? The next signal will be yellow, because the signal ahead of us is probably going to be the red one. Yeah, the 45 is up there, so this signal may still be yellow coming up. I'm slowing down anyway because I know we're going to have a red very shortly. And that's the reason I slowed down, not because of any other reason. Now, it looks like there's a path over there for what used to be a siding. I don't have any information on that, and I'm probably not going to be able to add anything in the post edit on that because I really don't know. But I'm assuming there used to be a siding there that no longer exists. Of course, if I have any information, I will add it. We did scan ahead already. We saw that this is a yellow signal, so we should be good to go. The next signal is definitely going to be red, though. At least for another minute. I'll try to get in range so you can see it before I slow down too much. In fact, I'm going to put a little speed on. This is Newby Halt right here, I believe. And it is not in operation. There's no stops happening there. It was a halt back in the day. We're getting a speed warning at this point for the 45 and potentially 30 up ahead if you're taking the junction. So there's your warning for that. So the signal ahead of us is going to clear in a little over 30 seconds, which means I'm coming in a little slower on this run. So, yeah. I'm coming in a little too slowly. I will look ahead just so you can see the red signal. I can actually see it on my screen right now. I'm not sure how clear it is on the post-edit full screen. But there was our warning for the red, and I'm going to go ahead and hit the brakes. And it turned yellow. So we can just carry on. I would have actually been coming too fast for the signal at that point. But I already knew what time it was going to change, so I just wanted to show you the signal. So 45 is the speed limit now. I'm going to stay at 30, under 40 I should say. Right now at 38. As we enter Annan, we're going to be passing the Annan goods loop, which is going to be off to the right. If we're lucky, there may be someone idling there today for us to eyeball as we go by. Eyeball the trains. Eyeballs. Let's slow down a little bit because we do have a stop here. Ah, look at that. Train number 03014 hanging out in the Annan goods loop. Doing some shunting, it looks like. Now this train is just long enough to fit all the passenger cars in, so I'm going to stick the engine just beyond the platform. Thank you. I'm going to stick the engine just beyond the platform. We have a yellow signal right now. The train that we're following is going to be out of our hair when we leave the station, but for right now we do have a yellow because it is still in the loop, in the block ahead of us. It'll be long gone down to Penrith by the time we actually get down to Carlisle. This time he'll stop at something like 1639 or something like that at Carlisle. So heading on to the platform a little further, we're going to get the train stopped as the last car gets onto the platform. So right about there. That's good enough. We're going to go ahead and open the doors right now at Annan and take a quick look at the train. If you really want to use that measly third horn, shift space, ladies and gentlemen. Leaving Annan, our next stop is Gretna Green. We are going to pass East Riggs along the way, and then we're going to, after all that, hit the West Coast Main Line north. So we are approaching the fast lines right now, between Glasgow and Carlisle. I should say between Lockerbie and Carlisle, but it does go ultimately to Glasgow. And if you go the other direction, it does ultimately go to London Euston. We just don't see any of that. So our speed limit leaving the station is 50 miles per hour. Bit of a footbridge there. See some more interesting looking bridges as we go under them. And it looks like there was a second bridge path over on the other side. I don't know what it was for. Maybe there used to be a track there a long time ago. I know in the past there were tracks that ran alongside each other that basically competed with each other because no one wanted to share the tracks. They wanted everyone to pay the extra money. The funny part is that now forms part of the railroad infrastructure today. Having those extra tracks allows for more traffic to be shared between the lines in some cases. So it's actually kind of funny how the competition led to what is today's railroad. We're now in a 75 mile per hour speed limit. I should probably go to full speed. There was a level crossing. I don't have the information on the level crossings handy, and I may not worry about it for this because this is again an old version of the route. Some of them may not exist anymore, so the notes I can come up with, they're probably not accurate to this version of the route, especially in an alternate era where even 10 years might have changed things. Though this is a route, this route does still exist, so it is possible the notes may be accurate for this portion anyway, but not 100%. A level crossing might now be a bridge or an undertongue or something. So as I said, the train that was blocking us is now long gone. We're just doing our own drive now to Gretna Green, nothing to worry about. We'll probably see some traffic at East Riggs. You see we're back to having semaphore signals right now in this section of the route. I am pulling the throttle back because I don't want to necessarily speed. There's somebody. That That particular train that we're seeing as we pass by is number 31112. That is the East Riggs down loop. You can see a building here, so I think this used to be an old station area, or this... No, I don't think we were at East Riggs yet. I know East Riggs comes after the loop. I didn't think we were there yet, but there was some kind of a building there. Maybe that was it. No, this is East Riggs right here. There might be an old halt that we just passed by right before East Riggs, because that building was very close to the line. Could be an engineer shack as well. I don't know 100% what all the buildings are. Just that I don't think they use the engineer shacks as much anymore. But it could have been an old halt as well, for all we know. That train right there is a train that you can follow all the way to the exit to Kilmarnock at the end of the scenario. That is train number 25085. It will be making a stop at Dumfries, and it will head towards Kilmarnock as we end the scenario. I'm not going to show it to you, but I actually looked, and it does leave at around 1653 or so. It starts heading up in that direction. And then the train that we're going to see coming up behind it actually finishes its service at Dumfries. We'll talk about him in a second. Or it. It's an AI bot. We don't know its gender. Maybe it doesn't have a gender. It is a bot, after all. I have to make sure I don't insult the bots. They have the ability to give me out-of-memory errors. So let's treat them nicely. Thank you, bots. You saw that I pulled the throttle off for a moment to get back down to 72. There's no need for us to go the speed limit. We're going way too fast. I'm cutting out these brakes for you anyway, so actually it allows me to shorten the stereo for you by going a little faster. But you don't have to go this fast. You can probably go to 65 and still arrive comfortably. You might even be able to do it at 60, but I'm not going to test that. Though actually 60 would be very comfortable at this point, because we're going to be 4 or 5 minutes early. Now, Gretna Green is a very small platform. We are going to have to come into Gretna Green fairly slowly as a result, because our stop power is not as good as some other trains. There is the other train that I mentioned I was going to talk about later. 50045, it just came from Gretna Green, platform 2. As I said, it terminates as Dumfries. And it does pull in and stop there while we're at Carlisle. So if you end up arriving on the late end at Carlisle, you can actually see that train arriving at Dumfries at the same time that we arrive at Carlisle. If we're early, it'll still be driving, as will 25085. So there's Gretna Green. I'm going to slow it down right now because I know I have lots of time. Plus, it's a 40 at the station anyway, but if we're going 40 by that sign, we have a serious problem. It's called not stopping. So the semaphore signal is giving a distant yellow, it looks like. Either that or I read the signal wrong. It might have been a different line that was showing the distant yellow. That might have been a distant green for us. Either way, we are clear into Gretna Green. That is the important detail. That's our speed warning, which I've already taken into account, so that's fine. We have to stop, so if we're only slowing down for the 40 now, we're in trouble. So 3/4 of a mile out from the end of the platform, a little closer to the start of it. Coming a little slowly now, so I've gone ahead and let the brakes off so we can ease our way in at this point. But I will be slowing down again before the 40 sign. There's our green signal. So we're going to stay on the line to the right, I believe that says. Or is that the left? There might be a sign to the left that it's referring to. Either way, of the ones ahead, we're probably going to stay to the right. There you go. We're staying on the right. Perfect. That's what I wanted to see. I'm not 100% sure what that loop is, but it is some other kind of loop here. I'll see if I can add notes on the post-edit. So we're going to put a major brake on. I'm coming in way too fast now. Using off the brakes for a moment because I can put the engine past the platform. That is fine. There's no way in this green earth that we're going to be putting all the cars on this platform, but we can possibly get 6 on the platform if I stop at the right location. That's what I'm attempting to do here. I want to keep the front ones on the platform. There, we got 6 cars for passengers to board at Gretna Green. This is, again, not a normal stop. It's just an extra stop for us. So, arrival at Gretna Green, platform number 1. Keep a close eye on the signals as we approach Citadel. That's Carlisle. The West Coast main line is busy at the best of times, but at Christmas it's even more chaotic than normal. Ooh, chaos. Ooh. Yes, that was me clapping, yes. Let's go and enjoy some chaos here, shall we? Leaving Gretna Green, our next stop is Carlisle. As we approach the Gretna Green Junction, we'll be about 8 miles or so from Carlisle. Now, I've been told we apparently get a red signal for the, not at this signal, but the next signal, I believe, somewhere in the next set of signals. We're supposed to get a red signal for a Class 101 that we eventually pass. I didn't see it on the practice run. I saw the 101, but I didn't see the red. So maybe I was going too slowly. I'm going to try to go fast enough to show it to you this time. There's a yellow. Yep, we're getting a red. Oh, that's a sign. That's the Welcome to England sign. Never mind. That's the Welcome to England, Welcome to Scotland sign. That is not a red signal. Or yellow signal. So this is a platform that used to be here, and I don't have the data for it in front of me. I'll put a note on it. But I think it's the old Gretna platform or something like that. I don't think it's in use anymore. In fact, I know it's not in use anymore. But I'll try to add the information for it. I don't think it's a platform in this DLC either. There's the path off to Moss through. Like, let me try that again. We're going through the Mosswood area now. That is the Longwoods MOD over there. A huge, huge area. And there's also Longwood Station way at the far end of that when you get out of the service area that this track goes into. Longwoods itself is over there. This is the 101, so we're not going to see any red signals here, unfortunately. I'm going to keep the speed slow for a reason. Now that Class 101 portal's at Riggs. I believe it makes a stop at Gretna Green in case you decide you don't want to leave for a while. So I think it's seen stopping there, but it pulls out at Rig and you don't see it after Rig. So if you're really slow, you're not going to see that train. Or any of the other ones coming up. It'll also fail the scenario. Now, there was a train scheduled to start from Mossband, train number 37009. We're going to probably see him later on before we go under the bridge, or as we go under the bridge. I'll see how well we do with our timing on that. Again, the open air means we're going over a bridge, the change in the air sound. Now, if there was anyone following us, they'd be really annoyed with us right now going at this slow speed, but like I said, there's a reason. Here comes train number 47052. That train is heading off on the Lockerbie portal. So 47s were typically stopping services, I believe, according to what I've been told back in the day, while 50s were express like us, which is why we had only a few stops, so we were semi-express. 47s were more, I think, stopping services. So that means that, where they did passengers anyway, that means that that train is probably heading to the Glasgow area, or at least Motherwell, but probably up to Glasgow since it's so close by then. And it's probably stopping at most of the stations along the way, so it probably would make a stop at Lockerbie and keep right on going. We're not going to see that on this map. The portal ends before you get to the turn. We'll talk about it when we do West Coast Main Line North, but there's a famous siding right after the portal exits on this route that is popular for all the wrong reasons. A major crash to happen there. But we'll talk about that when we do West Coast Main Line North, which I want to try and do in the coming months as well. Having already had practice runs on all the scenarios and knowing how many are broken. Here's another train. This is train number 31106. This is a freight train. It's also going to head off onto the line to Dumfries, and it will terminate at Rig. I keep adding an S. It's just Rig. So following that pattern, I do expect another Lockerbie service to come up shortly. There it is. A little bit over in the slow line at this point, but I believe that is 37192, who's going to eventually make his way out of the main line to head to Lockerbie. Now coming up, we're going to see how good my timing is, because got about a minute to get what I want to see here. In fact, I think I am going a little slow, so I'm going to go ahead and just put on some speed right now. I'm definitely going a little slow at this stage. We should be going faster anyway, so it's fine. There it is. You see that train over there? That's the head of the train. If you time it perfectly, you can go under this bridge for a screenshot at the same time that he passes over. So there he is up there. He's coming in this direction. That is a train track. That's 37009. He's heading for the yard. And he crosses over. Now, I think he was a little late this time, but I had him crossing over at 16:44:40 on my previous run. He stops at Kingmore Upper Reception 13 just before 16:48. Meanwhile, D440 just passed us. He's going to also head towards Gretna Green. And eventually Dumfries. And given that's a Class 50, probably to Stranraer Harbour. Though I think Class 50s, again, I'm told, did all sorts of services back in the day, so he could just be heading up to Kilmarnock as well. And beyond. I don't know. He can be going anywhere. I don't think Class 50s even have destinations set for them, so we can't even set a destination on here to say where it's going. There's no way to do that, as you can see on the front of my train, 1P18. No way to do that. So you have a 75 limit coming up here, which is fine. We're only going 50. In fact, we're good for that 60 limit up ahead, too, because we're only going 50. So we're going to be passing 47273. It did a shunting move to Kingmore up Goods 4 before we ever have a chance to see it. So that's going to be coming up in a moment. You can see the siding lights over there, all red. You see there is a 40 coming up. There's that train I just mentioned, 47273 idling over at Kingmore Up Goods. So that was the Class 47 again. They do freight as well. Now, I believe that's a speed warning, because we're not close enough to the signal to generate an AWS for the signal. But again, we're fine for speed right now, so I'm just going to go ahead and keep going at 50 for the time being. Now that, I think, is a yellow signal. No, it's another speed warning. That's the green. That was another speed warning. This time for the 40 coming up. You can see Carlisle up ahead. So close yet so far. Now, I'm expecting to see another train idling here, but I don't think I've seen it yet. Unless that's it. Yeah, that's probably the other train. We have a green, by the way. We need to slow down to 40, though. So that was 25083 in the Kingmore Down Goods Loop. And now we're going to have to wait and see what kind of traffic we have leaving Carlisle. That's the remaining question for us. What is leaving Carlisle? I'm down to 40. We're hearing noises off the track again. I see a moon rising over in the left window. You can see the moon behind the trees. That is a Class 105, I believe. That particular train is coming from Carlisle Platform 7. Pardon me. That train portals off the route early, but I presume it's going towards the Dumfries area because that's the kind of track it usually does. Now, it's good practice to slow down here, A, because you got a 20 speed limit, and B, because I think this signal is broken. I don't think this signal works properly. So taking a quick peer ahead. We can't see around the corner yet, but there's our warning. There's a train coming. That is actually another train, so good thing we slowed down. That is number 37010. You can see we have a red signal, so I'm going to go ahead and come to a stop just to make sure everything is kosher. 37010 is going to be heading up the West Coast Main Line, but again, it portals out, so we don't know exactly where it's going at this time. I'm going to zoom back so we can see the red clearly from the cab now. The train has cleared. Let's check the path ahead and make sure that we are kosher here. You can see the line is set for us to head into, where is it sending us? It is sending us into this platform here. That is Carlisle Platform 4. That is our destination. So we're going to go ahead and request to pass the signal. We're going to be approved to pass. And we're going to carry right on along here. After the brakes come off, that is. One last reminder of that puff horn. Please, ladies and gentlemen, play with the Armstrong version of the train, or at least use the sound pack if you were around in time for the sound pack. So a reminder, that was an allowed SPAD. We had permission to pass that signal. It is a broken signal. Quick look out the window at the buildings. That's the old Kuju temple there. So there you go, some old buildings from the European Local and Asset Pack. Nothing special for that reason, but that's what we had back then. That's what Keith had to work with, and that's what he used. I am speeding past 20. I came up a little too quickly. My fault. Had a perfect run going to that point, but you know what? Trains can get away from me once in a while, so I think that's forgivable. 1 mile is forgivable. In my case, I wasn't paying attention. Don't tell the boss that. I won't tell you either. I won't say anything either. You have my word. So over there, idling at platform 1, we have platform 3. We have train number 411. That is a class 50. I thought that was my F6 HUD for a second. No, those are lights at Carlisle. Whoops. Now, I don't know if we're going to see it yet, but there is a train that starts south of the Carlisle platform. And I'm going to try to slow down to see if we can give it time to come in case it's not there yet. But that would be train number 47026, making a stop over at platform number 1. It's actually terminating its service, and I don't think it's here yet. I do not think it is here. So I'm going to try to hang around for a moment to see it come in. We do have a green signal. We could technically continue if we want to, but again, we would fail this scenario. And you go right up to the water thing here. Actually, no, you know what? The train would have arrived by now, because I think my practice run arrived at this time as well. But in any case, we're going to take a quick look at the train as we finish the scenario. So let's open the doors and let our weary passengers off. And as I do that, I just want to wish you a happy holiday as we go look at the train. Actually, I'm kind of a little early on that. Let's look at the train first. I did just double check that was 47026 over at platform 1, so he had arrived. I figured he had based on the practice run. But in any case, yeah, that is the end of the Home for Christmas series. We got our passengers from Stranraer Harbour all the way to Carlisle over 4 parts and 4 scenarios. I hope you enjoyed the run as much as I did. It was kind of fun seeing the entire route from this perspective and seeing a nice daylight run through the entire route. I just want to wish you all a happy holiday, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, whatever it is for you. Hanukkah, of course, is already passed. Whatever other holiday you might celebrate in this time, I don't know what they all are, but I'm not going to try to guess. In any case, Christmas obviously is tomorrow for those who celebrate tomorrow. So have a happy holiday, whatever it is for you. And in another week, we'll be talking about New Year's Eve. So I might be around doing a New Year's Eve scenario. We'll see what I can find. But anyway, we made it. Why are we so surprised? Excellent work, driver. That was a long and difficult run, but we made it in one piece. The passengers will now transfer to other trains, naturally, and you can have a nice rest. Have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Well, What more is there to say to that? If you're on the Western Lines of Scotland playlist, you're going to see more scenarios following this at some point. I don't know how I'm going to organize the playlist yet. I might put the original scenarios before these, but in any case, whatever the case, you'll eventually see something after this on the playlist. That's all I can say for that. In the meantime, I hope you have a wonderful day, evening, or night, and a happy holiday. I'll see you for more scenarios in the future. I don't know what we're doing next time. I haven't planned entirely, but I do have ideas for things like Liverpool, Manchester, maybe back to Germany for the Mittenwald-Bonn to finish up. Might go back to Miami. Haven't decided yet. I've got lots of options on the table. We'll see next time what I do. I'll see you for that. Have a wonderful day, evening, night, and holiday. And I'll see you next time. I'm Cyclone for Let's Play Train Simulator. Bye-bye.